Hey everyone, Dave Guresso here. I just wanted to talk to you all about something that I know a lot of you are struggling with. I bet a lot of you today are feeling stuck. And what do I mean by that? So many of us are stuck in different ways. For some of us, it may be in our work, it may be in business, it may be in our marriage, it may be with something else we're dealing with in life. Whatever the thing is in your life that you feel stuck with, I just want to share a couple of stories with you, because the truth is you're only about as stuck as you tell yourself you are. And so one of the tips that I can provide anybody who's feeling stuck in any given situation right now is that really when you feel stuck, you got to look at what it is that you currently possess right now. What skills do you have? Who's on your side? What kind of people are there? What have you been learning? What kind of obstacles have you encountered recently, and what did you pick up from that? Because a lot of times the very things that we're stuck on, we've been prepared for those things so that we could deal with them appropriately just prior to that. So let me share a couple of stories. I'm going to share something from my work, and I'm going to share something from my personal marriage situation, so that you can see that this doesn't just apply to work. This applies to personal life as well. It doesn't matter which part of your life, put it all together. So a long time ago, maybe about 4 years ago now, I got certified as a trainer, speaker, and coach. And I was really passionate about the subject of leadership. I really wanted to be able to do something with that. And so I started thinking out loud, okay, how am I going to get this started? Because I really had no clue. And so as I considered it, I realized that I had a lot of training and materials that I already possessed as part of this John Maxwell Team program. So I began to think, what is happening where I work today, and how can I take those things that I already have and put those together? Well, it was only a week or two before that, maybe a little bit longer. I had ran into somebody at work who was teaching servant leadership workshops. Or actually really just doing a lunch and learn around the office. And I thought, man, I would really love to be part of that. I'd really love to teach that. And I'd really like to take the things that I already have access to and apply those things. And so I went to her and I said, hey, I've got this material, and I think that we could really turn this into an all-day workshop and do something amazing with it. And if you're willing to combine our talents and our resources together, we could pull this together and we could do this thing together and actually make something of it here at the office. Well, she got really excited. She was on board, and we decided to team up and do this. Shortly after we agreed to do that, I went and I reached out to some other folks that I knew, and probably within a couple of days, at most a week, I had about 10 people pulled together on this team, because we were going to now create servant leadership workshops where I worked. So just to make a long story short, since then, we have trained between 400 and 500 people where I work. And I got to tell you a secret, it really has nothing to do with what I was hired to do. I was hired there as a technology professional, and now I'm delivering workshops. I have another one coming up at the end of this month where we're going to be teaching leadership to folks all over our organization. So that's super exciting. From that spun off an additional type of workshop where we do these DISC training. And if you haven't experienced DISC is a personality assessment. It helps you understand how you think, what your temperament is, your personality type, and then it also helps people understand why they have conflicts with other types of personalities. This affects us in every area of life. And if you're interested, please go ahead and put a comment at the bottom of this video, and I'll be sure to reach out to you and we can talk more about what that means for you. But the point that I'm trying to make here is I took the access to the resources that I had, I combined it with something that was already happening in life, and I was able to get unstuck and then move forward. Meanwhile, I'm gaining plenty of experience, and who knows how that's going to pay off in the future. The other story that I wanted to share with you is more from my personal life. I felt very stuck in my marriage. This was probably sometime last year or the year before, and I wasn't sure how it was going to move forward. My wife and I were in a point where we were just arguing We didn't know how to get past it. It felt like we were going in circles. Every time I would say something, she'd get upset, and then she would say something back, and then I was upset, and then we would just argue ourselves right down into a pit again. I'm certain many of you have been there before. It's a very difficult and frustrating circumstance. But one thing that I had learned through all the training that I have done, in addition to all the actual facilitation and the training and the workshops I've talked about, I'm also a trained Stephen minister. That's where in churches, you're a lay helper where you're able to listen and counsel people sort of on a volunteer basis. I've also got a third of the way through a marriage and family therapy degree. And so I had all this different training that I put together. And the number one skill set that I probably learned, this might surprise you, maybe not, is that those who listen well are the ones that ultimately are able to influence and help others through difficult situations. So I had this skill of listening that I had really built on for now several years, and I figured, well, one thing that I haven't done well, and I hear it all the time, quit trying to fix it, Dave. Especially if you're a man in a marriage. I know our first inclination is to want to jump in and fix the problem. Well, instead of trying to fix it this time, I just decided to zip my lips, shut up, and hear her out. So I drove to work, and she went on for 2-3 solid minutes, and I didn't say a word. 30 seconds of very awkward silence went by, and she proceeded to talk for another 2 to 3 minutes. Another 30 seconds of awkward silence went by, and she talked for yet another few minutes. By the end of it, I don't know what happened or how exactly it took place, but by the time I got home, it was almost as if nothing happened. We were able to move past our issues, and it was as if all she really wanted was to be heard. And so all I did was take the things that I had experienced with up to that point, and I began to apply it. And so I gave you a story now from my professional working life, and then I gave you a story from my personal life. And my point that I want to make here is when you feel stuck, there is always something that you have learned to date. There is always some resource or something that you have access to that if you just take the time to think about whatever that is, you'll begin to put that in practice. You'll see the opportunity to put that in practice, and then you can get yourself unstuck. So thank you all for listening. I hope this helps. If you want to talk any more, I'll be glad to chat with you anytime. Just go ahead and leave a comment below. Again, it's Dave Guresso. You all have a great day.